Senators of Thebes, and your new king, Creon. We have traveled together, my boy and I, sharing one pair of eyes between the two of us, which is the way blind men must make their journeys.
Teiresias, what news brings an old man so far?
Important news that can't wait, and advice which, if you're wise, you'll listen to.
I've always listened and acted upon it more than once.
And like a sensible captain who values his pilot, you've avoided the rocks.
I admit it. We all do. We're in your debt.
Then for God's sake, listen to me now. You're like a man balanced on a razor, likely to fall, or cut himself to pieces.
Are you serious? Any man would shudder hearing such things from your lips that have foretold so many horrors. Tell me what you mean.
Oh yes, I intend to. Everything my experience of forecasting the future and understanding symbols has revealed to me, I will make plain to you. I was sitting in my usual seat, a place where I can hear the singing and the secret language of the birds and understand their meaning, when I heard, quite unexpectedly, a terrible new sound like shrieking or cries of anguish, hysterical twittering and whistling like the babble of a barbaric language only capable of expressing hatred or pain. By that, in the wild beating of wings, I knew the birds were at war. Such sounds could mean nothing else. I could well imagine their blood-stained beaks and dripping claws, and that thought disturbed me deeply. At once I went to my altar to see what I could learn from the sacrifice by fire. But nothing would burn. A filthy liquid ran from the flesh and dropped on the embers, and sizzled and bubbled among the ashes. And then the gallbladder burst, spurting stinking acid across the meat, and the fat melted and was rendered down till the bone was left bare. I saw all this. Or my boy saw it. He sees for me what my eyes cannot, just as I see things to which other people are blind. But in that filth I read nothing. The oracle was clogged with fat and decay, and then it was revealed. I understood that you, King Creon, have decreed this filth that chokes our altars. The blood and flesh that decays and stinks there is the blood and flesh vomited from the gullets of dogs and carrion crows, the blood of Polynices. The flesh that the unluckiest of the sons of Oedipus, still unburied and affronting more than our sense of smell. The gods themselves are disgusted. They reject our prayers and sacrifices. How could they do otherwise? How can the birds sing of anything but horrors, blown out with this banquet of human blood, clogged and stinking till their beaks dripped with it? My son, listen to me. Any man can make a mistake or commit a crime. That man who can recognize what he has done, see what he was mistaken or morally wrong, admit it, and put it right. That man proves that it is never too late to become wise, and no one will condemn him. But if he compounds his stupidity with stubbornness and an obstinate refusal to face the facts, he is nothing but a fool. Is there anyone more stupid than the stupid man who cannot see his own stupidity? Polynices is dead. Don't revenge yourself on his remains. You can kill a man once, and once only. Is there any glory to be gained by defeating a corpse? This is good advice, my son, sincerely offered by someone who wishes you well. Take it.
So that's your news, is it, old man? I am to be the target, am I, for everyone to shoot at? Well, I'm wise too. Wise to the ways of fortune tellers and the buying and selling you all go in for. And I'm to be the latest bargain I see. I'm to be bought and sold like silver from the exchequer at Sardes or gold from India. I'm to be part of the trade. Let me tell you this. There is not enough gold in the world to buy a grave for that man. If Golden Eagle should carry him up by joints and shreds to Zeus and spew him into gobbets on the marble floor of Olympus, not even that blasphemy would be enough to deflect me from my purpose. Because I know that no single human act, however much it may degrade the earth and the men who perpetrate or suffer it, can stain the purity of the ever-living gods. But let me tell you this, Teiresias. A man can fall. He can fall like a stone, especially if he pretends to give good advice and wraps it up in a profound cloak of religiosity, when all the time naked self-interest and the greed for profit are the only motives that matter to him.
Are there any wise men left? Anywhere?
Goodness! How profound! Do you have any more thunderous platitudes to follow that one?
Mature judgment cannot be bought. No treasure is as valuable, and good advice is worth more than a fortune to any man.
And bad advice is worse than worthless, a disease which infects the wisest of men.
You describe your own symptoms exactly.
I refuse to become involved in a slanging match or quarrel with the recognized prophet of thieves.
And yet you insult me to my face. You say my predictions are both false and dishonest.
That is because all fortune tellers are money grubbers and chardalins.
Kings too have been known to be acquisitive.
Do you realize the woman you are talking to? I am the king.
Well, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
You are the king, yes. My good advice helped to make you one.
You've had your successes. I know that. You've been proved right on more than one occasion. But honesty is another matter. I've never trusted you.
Don't provoke me to tell you everything. The dark waters of prophecy are better left undisturbed.
Disturb them! I don't care. Say anything at all, but say it honestly, not for cash.
Are you really foolish enough to believe that money has ever been my motive?
Because my integrity is not for sale.
Listen, Creon. This is the truth. Before many days, before the sun has risen, well, shall we say a few more times, you will have made your payment, corpse for corpse, with a child of your own blood. You have buried the one still living, the woman who moves and breathes, and you have given to the grave, and the dead man who you have left, unwashed, unwept, without the common courtesy of a decent covering of earth, so that both have been wronged, and the gods of the underworld, to whom the body justly belongs, are denied it and are insulted. Such matters are not for you to judge. You usurp ancient rights which even the gods themselves don't dare to question, powers which are not in the prerogative of a king. Even now, implacable avengers from hell, the Furies, They rise up and swoop down from the heaven, fix their hooks into those who commit crimes, and will never let go. The suffering you inflicted upon others will be inflicted upon you. You will suffer as they did. Have I been bribed? Do you think? Am I speaking for money now? Before very long, yes. It will be soon. There will be a screaming and bitter tears and hysterical crying in this house. Men as well as women, other cities too, other states will turn upon you for the crimes you have committed. Dogs and vultures will swarm in their streets, dropping fragments of the unburied man at corners, on doorsteps, in the public square. They will smell the pollution and turn to you, its author. That's all I have to say. You made me angry, Creon, with your crude accusations. So I made you my target. And like a good marksman, all my shots have hit the bull. You can feel them, can't you? You can feel the pain like an arrow here. Take me home now, boy. Leave him alone to entertain some younger ears than mine with his ridiculous outbursts. Either that, or let him learn mature judgment and how a wise man holds his tongue.
My lord, he's gone, promising nothing but disasters to come. My hair grew gray in this city. I was dark-haired here, and now I am white. And in all that time, I have never known any of his prophecies to be proved wrong.
Neither have I, man. I know that much as well as you. My mind's torn apart like a tug of war, one way and then the other. How can I give way now? But how can I stand here like a fool and wait stubbornly for whatever disaster may be coming?
Lord Creon, it's time to take good advice.
Give it then. Don't be afraid. I'll listen.
Release the woman from her underground prison and give honorable burial to the dead man.
Oh, so that's your advice? Total collapse? Complete withdrawal? Do you all think that?
We do, sir. And do it quickly, for heaven's sake. The gods never more faster than when they're punishing men with consequences of their own actions.
How can I do it? It's unendurable to deny every principle and every action I have stood fast by. But I dare not stand against the iron laws of necessity.
Go on, sir. Do it now and do it personally, not by proxy, with your own hands.
Yes. I'll go. Myself, at once. Somebody! Everybody bring spades and sledgehammers out onto the mountain. I'm coming with you. If I've changed my mind, I'll act upon it with exactly the same determination. I sentenced her, and I'll set her free. Tear down the bricks with my own hands if necessary. Perhaps it is wiser to let the old laws stand. My fear tells me it is, and that's a voice every prudent man must listen to.
On the other hand, I must be honest enough to say that I do feel that there are two types of laws. One is a just law and one is an unjust law. I think we all have moral obligations to obey just laws. On the other hand, I think we have moral obligations to disobey unjust laws because non-cooperation with evil is as much a moral obligation as is cooperation with good. I think the distinction here is that when one breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust, he must do it openly, he must do it cheerfully, he must do it lovingly, He must do it civilly, not uncivilly, and he must do it with a willingness to accept the penalty. And any man who breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust and willingly accepts the penalty by staying in jail in order to arouse the conscience of the community on the injustice of the law is at that moment expressing the very highest respect for law.